Hello everyone, my name is DoomFish, and today's episode of the Redstone Toolbox, I'll be talking about the daylight detector as a redstone component. So it seems like this is pretty simple. I mean, it detects the daylight outside, right? But there's actually a couple of different functions and a couple of different ways that this device can be used that you might not already know about. So as always with the series, we're going to start by showing you how to make the daylight detector. So to make this component, you're going to need 3 glass in the top row like so, 3 nether quartz, so you are going to have to get to the nether to make this component just like the comparator, and then 3 of any wood slabs on the bottom row, and you've got your daylight detector. So for the basic function of this device, when you place it and the sun is out directly above this, it'll release a redstone pulse. So we can see that this pulse is 15 units long, and that's because we are currently at noon in the Minecraft world, and also because there are no blocks obstructing the sunlight from reaching this panel right here. This is the maximum charge you can have, and if it has different times in the day, this charge will be less than what it is currently. So right now we're set to noon, which is the same thing as set to times 6,000. If we were to set this to say 8,000, so a little bit later in the Minecraft day, we'll see that our charge actually decreases by 1 over here. We can continue this process a little bit, and you'll see that it'll sort of decrease at similar intervals. This time it decreased by 2. You can see we've changed it to 1,200, or 12,000, excuse me. Decreases by about 4, and so on and so forth. And if we go all the way to midnight, which is 18,000, we'll see that we have no longer any charge coming from our daylight detector over here. Now that we're at midnight, if we want to get a charge out of this thing over here, we can right-click on it to invert it, which just means that it actually has higher charge the darker it is outside. And you'll see that when we're exposed to the open sky, even at midnight, our charge isn't completely full. So now that we're back to noon, we can see that our daylight detector outputs a signal strength of 15 again. And another thing that can influence how much charge your daylight detector actually outputs is the weather. So right now it's clear. If we switch it to something like rain, or snow, or thunder, we'll see that our charge actually decreases. So this can cause a little bit of an issue if you are trying to have specific inputs for specific times of day, as we can see that the output will actually change over time depending on the weather. And all of this is listed on the wiki page for the daylight detector, and I'll post a link to that in the description below, so if you want to take a look at the tables for how much charge you get for each time, for each weather condition, on each version of the game, then you can do that from the description below. Another way that we can change the output strength on this right here is to go ahead and place some blocks above our daylight detector, just to block out the sunlight a little bit. So we can see that it was at full charge, so 15 signal strength, and now it's 13 because we built a little canopy over this right here. We can continue doing this until we block out the entirety of the sun, but you can see that the more we build, the more this sort of decreases over here. And actually, interestingly enough, we can see that if we go ahead and right-click this to invert the charge, we can see that placing blocks over this in direct sunlight will actually increase the output from here. Also, something to consider is that you can't actually place down any light blocks around this to influence how much charge it produces. So that's pretty much it for this component right here. The daylight detector is influenced by some other conditions other than just the time of day. So I would definitely be careful in what environment you build this in, and make sure that whatever you're powering with this, you're taking into account that different weather conditions can change the output generated from this component right here. That's going to do it for today's episode of the Redstone Toolbox. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and you can subscribe for more content just like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.